Hey everybody, welcome back to Ready Steady Play.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's Mike and Ollie. Yeah,
Back!
Ollie's back. And we're here playing Cloudspire, which you knew from the thumbnail and the title of the video. And now these boxes.
The fact we're both holding boxes that says the name on it.
So we've got Cloudspire, which is the latest game from Chip Theory Games, and we've been playing it quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's how much work it takes to get to the table.
Yes.
And we're now playing a two-player version of the game. This is actually the first time we've played two-player. We've played three-player a bunch of times. So this is exciting for us to try the two-player.
So, Michael, if you're watching...
Hello.
Hello.
We're going to be doing... if you don't know what this is a wave tower defense game. The reason we've got two boxes here, guys, is we've actually got the full Kickstarter, but we're only using the contents of the core set, with the exception of this miniatures expansion, which is a Kickstarter thing, which comes with these Spire miniatures. So if you are unfamiliar with the game, it's a wave defense, tower defense game, where essentially what we're doing is we're recruiting armies of minions and heroes to go and attack our opponent's fortresses.
And if we're lucky, mercenaries.
And if we're lucky, mercenaries. We'll each have a fortress. We're trying to destroy the other people's fortresses with these minions that we're going to send out in waves, and we're going to be building spires, which are these things here, in order to prevent the opponent's minions from coming and destroying our fortress.
Yes. There are two kinds of spire for every faction, the minimum, one of which is ground defense and the other which is flying defense. Flying creatures can only be hit by things that either have range or that have specific air defense, which comes up more often in the three-player game, I guess.
I think it comes up more often if someone's playing as the faction the Heirs, who are the bird people that you can see attacking the giants on the front of this box.
Yes.
But we're not playing as the Heirs in this particular game. We've used them twice now, actually, and I'm a little upset that we're not airing the series we were playing with the Heirs in, because I think they're actually a faction that requires some scrutiny. But the reason I say that is essentially the game itself is reasonably complex, and then each faction is completely asymmetrical and has a whole bunch of complexity that comes with it. Within each faction, there are also a bunch of viable strategies to explore in each game. So you have to know what's going on in the fortress and the strategies you can explore there.
Yep.
You've got to get to know all the units and all of their keywords and things like that. And of all the factions we've looked at, the Heirs are probably the most tricky to understand. But
they do have a lot of special rules.
They do have a lot of special rules. And we are not playing with them today. Because Ollie and I know the Grovetenders best, and Ollie knows the Narora best, so we're playing with those two factions. So what we're doing in this game is we are all in the magical land of Ankar fighting a war for source, which is magical energy crystals or some shit. Stuff.
Don't say that about my god.
Right, so Ollie is apparently a race of ghosts that worship source.
Yeah.
And eat it, and they consume it, and now they're made of it.
Consume it on a daily basis, and now we can't do without it. Sugar.
And I'm basically trees that have come alive in the shape of animals to basically tell everyone off for not being more environmentally conscious.
All right, magic sugar.
Conscientious. Huh?
Magic sugar, then.
The source is basically your cocaine.
Yeah.
So these two factions play quite differently. My faction's quite defensive. All these factions got sort of kind of like strange shenanigans going on. They're quite powerful units, but they're also quite limited.
There's a specific restriction that my guys have, because every other faction, when their creatures die, they go back to the barracks, barring heroes. Mine die.
This is a barracks.
Yes. Mine die, and I have to invest in an upgrade to bring them back. Likewise, every other faction, their units can be upgraded based off of things that they do in conflict, or based off of special rules on the card.
Well, everyone's upgraded in a different way.
Yeah, mine have no upgrades, barring heroes. They just have two sides that I can choose which one to place down.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I have a unit called the Messiah, and his alternative is the Void.
And you can just choose to put out either one of those when you hire them.
But if they die, I lose both of them.
Oh, that's
which is why you have to invest in, potentially why you have to invest in the graveyard return.
Yeah, so a lot of the units, the minions, as they're called, that you'll see in the game, have one side, and then they can get out this starred side here, which is an upgraded version of the same unit. Ollie can just choose, I guess.
I can just choose which one to put down.
The heirs, they can actually do an upgrade within their fortress. That means that all of their units just like deploy upgraded, which is nuts.
Yeah.
And mine, actually, the way mine work is that I've got units that summon more units onto the field, and and they become less powerful. So think of it sort of like the tangle of trees kind of like breaking off into a new unit. So the original one becomes less powerful, but then the new one is spawned upgraded.
So, yeah, as we said, lots of different individual rules for each faction, which means you have to get very familiar with your faction card.
There's a huge learning curve. Yeah, your first game is going to take a long time because you've got to
memorize a lot.
There's a lot of rules to internalize. I mean, there's a lot of rules to internalize just in the game itself, and then there's a lot to internalize with each different asymmetrical faction as well.
Yeah, but enough of that because we'll leave that for the final thoughts. Let's get cracking with the game.
Yeah. So let's get these heavy boxes. So heavy. Oh, big box. Get out of here.
Yeah, he's holding the lid. I'm holding the actual box. Look, here's the back of it.
I was holding the whole box.
Yeah.
It's that you got the light box, Ollie.
He said.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so
because this is 2-player, we are basically just trying to destroy each other. In the 3-player game or the 4-player game, obviously you can choose who to attack. It's not so much of a choice in this one.
Yeah, so there's this whole sort of system where you mark players that you want to attack. So I'm going to flip over 3 market tokens here, Ollie, because it's 1 token per player plus 1.
Yep.
So we've got the Fashioner, who is a minion with improv. We have no idea what that is. Improve?
Not improv.
Improv. He gets out.
Ta-da!
He's like looks at the enemy minions and he's like, "Give me an item.
Tell me a place. Now a job."
If he ends his movement next to a friendly spire, he can spend 2 source to add any upgrade, ignoring restrictions.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. So he'll improve a spire potentially. We've got Elite Duelist, who has Assault.
Ooh. God, these are strong ones.
When attacking a spire, remove the bottom upgrade before applying damage.
Oh, that's
good. So he does 2 damage to spires, basically.
And then
a mini harvester, which is an item that heroes can equip. It's got Reap, which says, once per wave, when this unit is adjacent to a source well, roll a d6 and gain the die result in source.
So that is that d6 over there. The blue one.
And even if the source well has a spire on it, that's fine.
That is really good.
Yeah, these are all good.
Yeah. Bear in mind, most creatures have this. They have a cost in source if we're buying them from the market, which is the top one, and they have a reward if they die, which is the bottom one, if something kills them. The reward might be source, it might be item cards, it might be something else. So.
Find your faction token and you can be first player.
Left.
Boo!
Aww.
I am first player.
Boo!
Okay, well, for the sake of simplicity, I am going to deploy my fortress here.
Okay, so flip your thing over.
Boop,
So
boop,
the
boop, boop.
rule for this is, there must always be a path from your fortress to the centre hex unbroken. So when it comes out, it has to basically be these joins, but afterwards you can invest in these land tiles to change the direction of the path.
So this is legal placement because my fortress gate is surrounded by 3 things, and it is also got a path to the center aisle, and also it's not overlapping any other aisle mass.
Indeed.
So now it's over to you. You can literally go adjacent to any of them, although I don't recommend this one.
What about this one?
Yeah, I mean,
I can go right there.
If you really want.
have it off the table. I think I'm going to try here.
Yeah, makes sense.
Ooh. Oh, wow. There's a lot of path on these ones.
Well, wait, this is going to be a bloody game. Blood bath.
It's going to be a bloodbath. Right, I'm going to go there. And I really want to do that just to... I'll go there.
Go! So, now I think we just take turns flipping them, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, I want to do this one. Because what I don't want is to create a path to where I am. That's not got a path to the center.
No.
So I think...
Illegal placement!
Illegal! You've done something illegal! Do I like this?
Decisions. He's already getting paralysed by the AP.
I don't know. That's fine.
There's a lot of AP in this game.
That's fine.
Yes?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, this is a very heads down thinky game, so we're going to do our best to like not just shut down mentally and go into the neutral zone. But if you ever see a cut, it's probably just me cutting out a long gap of silence while we were thinking about the game stuff.
At least in like a 3 or 4 player game, there's someone else potentially to talk to. In a 2 player game, we're just going to be like,
but I mean, even
distractions.
We even when we filmed the 3 player games, which we did do, and don't ask why they're not airing, but there was still like a lot of sort of silence. I didn't. This is the marketplace, by the way. We're gonna have a chance to buy this stuff, and these are earthscapes, which we can buy to blat out on here to change the landscape.
Indeed.
All right, so now that that's done, let's get some of these landscapes out.
Okay.
So I'm going to put a swamp down here, closest source well to me. That's random. Closest source well to you should also be a swamp. That is the closest one, isn't it? Yeah, that's the closest.
Yeah, let's go with that.
It's just random in the middle, isn't it? It's not anything special.
The only thing that can't...
that's not supposed to be the game.
Yeah. I was going to say, the only one that can't be there is the ancient Thraxiar.
This thing.
The thingy.
Ancient Thraxiar.
That's the
I don't know
bunny.
when he comes out, but... he's like, hi!
Giant T-Rex thingy of doom.
It reminds me of this meme where it was just like there's a T-Rex in the background and these 2 people in the foreground, and one of them's like, why were you just talking to that T-Rex? And she holds out a gun. She's like, oh, he's my small arms dealer.
Oh god, that's awful. That is awful.
I love it. I love it.
Everybody fears the T-Rex.
Everybody fears.
Oh dear. Right.
Not good at high fives.
Or clapping. If you're happy, you know it, clap your hands.
I'm not happy anymore.
Don't have an event on the first turn, because that would just be cruel. These can be very, very bad.
Yeah, so the event cards, they're game-changing. They can really just upset a strategy based on what comes out. Some of them destroy spires, some of them alter character movement, all kinds of stuff. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. So
what happens next is we take our income. So we start off at 0 source at the beginning of the game, and 10 health for the fortress. Fortresses... if they go to 0, you lose the game. In a multiplayer game, you can come back, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, so basically, you win if you reduce everyone else's fortresses to 0 hit points.
Yes.
And so in a 2-player game, that's just destroy the other guys, right?
Yeah.
But in a game with 3 players, someone can be destroyed and come back in, but it's pretty bad.
Dire.
It's pretty dire, yeah. Usually the guy that did the destroying is probably now got a pretty strong lead. But if neither of us destroy each other's fortresses, then the winner of the game will be the person with the most leftover hit points who's made the most advancements to their fortress. So like I said earlier, we've got these distinct strategies where we're improving our fortress.
Yes.
And every advancement we make is worth 1 point at the end of the game to determine the winner.
Yeah. So, income phase, and it's 5 source on your first turn. This dial does not like me. Turn. There we go. So, we start with 5 source, and we'll have 5 CP when it comes to deployment, which is what we need to bring these guys out. There is a hero that has no cost, that everyone has, and this is your first hero who is free and has to come out on the first turn. You can only have 1 hero on the first turn. But after that, you can...
On the first turn, you can only deploy 1 hero, and it has to be a free hero.
Yes.
Yep. And then in later turns, you can have up to 2 heroes on the board at any given time. And
so if you buy 1, you can't deploy 1 of your own.
Yeah.
Or, if they're dead.
Yeah.
All right. So, as first player...
Heroes can leave the board once they're out, though, and you can change them.
Yeah.
Or they can just die. If they die...
They die. So as first player, Mike gets first dibs over the marketplace.
Right, that's right. Do I want any of these things? I've got, what have I got? 5 source.
So he can either buy that or one of these, and then it becomes my turn to choose. These will get replaced the moment he buys them. This, only 1 can be bought per turn, which means if he gets it, I can't have it. And vice versa.
And it costs 2 source to buy it, and then I can place it in the build phase, and I can place it and potentially construct an spire immediately on it. Although having said that, I it's probably a bit early days for that, really, unless I want to use it to somehow fundamentally change the board, which I don't really want to do at the moment.
In a 2-player game, we both have 6 towers in total, so we get to use everything that was in the box.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to build all those towers, though, are we?
Says you.
I don't want anything from the market, so you can have at it.
Okay. We can't afford the elite duelist.
Thank God.
Quite simply, that would have been a turn 1.
Yeah, I would have bought that for sure.
What's this? Reap. I think I'll buy that.
That's probably actually a pretty good shout. Maybe I should have bought that. Shit.
And it gets replaced with the Convict, who is battle hardened. Not quite sure what he was convicted of. Battle hardened reduces his damage by 2.
If he's attacked by a spire, reduce the damage dealt by 2.
I was close.
So he's quite hard to kill with spires.
Yes. Because the dice for a spire, which is here, every attack a spire has, you've got to roll this dice, whereas with creatures you just do the attack damage on them. So it's got a miss, it's got a load of 1s, and it's got a critical 2. So if a spire has 1 attack and it can't do more than 2 damage to him, and he reduces it by 2, he is not getting hurt. Alternatively, if it's doing 6 dice and he gets 4 damage against him, he only takes 2, but he's only got 2 life.
So, we are now... I passed already out the market phase, so Ollie, you're still in it if you want to buy more.
I am passing after that.
Okay, so you're down to 3 source?
Yes.
Right, because we have 5.
Yes.
Right, I remember how this game works.
No, you don't.
So, we're into the build phase now, where we have build options.
Yeah.
We can build a fortress advancement, we can build a spire, we can upgrade the spire.
Yep.
I think that's like it.
Basically.
We can put out an Earthscape if we have one.
Oh, yes.
And we could build spires that we bought from here. There are some like neutral mercenary spires.
Tower of Babel being one of them.
So with this in mind, I actually think I'm going to buy Inner Oak and then just kind of hope for the best.
What does that do?
It gives me +4 source in the income phase.
Wow, okay.
I didn't buy this last time because I find what tends to happen is I buy this and then because I didn't spend money on defenses, well, the thing is, it costs 3, right?
Yes.
And it's going to give me a maximum of 12 source.
Yeah.
So that means it's a net gain of 9 source, which I don't think is actually that great.
I mean, it's quicker than the one that gives me +10 once.
Well, I quite like the second level of it because the second level of it, actually, the fortress starts to tick up health. It's just once per prep phase, though. So again, it's not like all that great.
He says before he's won.
Well, it's going to give me 3 hit points, right? In this version of the game.
Yes.
But, that's 3 points at the end of the game, which might be okay.
Fair enough. Right, well, so he's built. I'm also going to upgrade. I'm going to upgrade my Azure Temple to level 1, so I have my source barrier.
What do you want?
The pegs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The one thing you've got over there that you're going to have to give me.
I got confused. You were like, source barrier. And I was like, oh, he wants the source barrier. What does that do, Ollie?
So that allows me once per wave, so this is the assault, the onslaught phase, once per wave, to negate up to 2 damage to my fortress gate by spending 1 source, and it will still retaliate even if I negate all of the damage done.
Right. Once per wave, you can sort of spend a doodad to do a defensive. Got it. That's the technical terms.
Anyway,
right.
Okay,
so that's build phase done, right?
Yeah, because we both.
I've got 2 source left. You've got none.
I got bugger all.
So Ollie's out of source. I've got source. We will have an opportunity to do some spire building.
Religious crisis.
Later.
We're out of source.
We ate all the source. Damn it!
What did we do?
See, don't get high on your own supply, Ollie. That's the problem.
But it's okay. I'm going to reap what I sow.
That's true.
It's terrible.
So now what are we? We're going to the prep phase, aren't we?
Yeah, so this is where we decide what creatures we want to have out. And we also pick the order of deployment. So it could be minions, then your heroes on top, or it could be the minions, then the heroes on the bottom. This determines the order of movement because things on the top will obviously move before the things on the bottom.
Yeah.
We also decide if we're going to group creatures, which is if you go, I'm going to have these two as part of the same group, you stack them by whoever's got the lowest movement on the top. So these two are different. So it would have to be the conduit on top because he's got a move of 2 instead of a move of 3. And then I use the health of the active monster who can attack, can move, and be attacked.
God, explaining this game is hard.
But the guy underneath it is safe from all harm until this guy's dead, in which case all of a sudden he pops out and goes, oh yeah, I'm still alive.
And you have to fight him too.
Yeah.
So if you group minions, essentially the one on top protects the ones below it, or they can just wander around individually in their own stacks where they're all vulnerable. Yeah. But then you have more guys and they do more attacks and
potential. I mean,
there's more.
There are reasons to stack depending on your strategy.
Yeah, we're not. Don't ask us about it because we're not very good at it.
I'm trying to hide that. God.
Oh no! Curse my candor. Right, so...
No wonder Michael refused to come back.
See, now this is where we all go quiet and just sit and think about our life choices.
No, we don't. We play these games to not think about our life choices.
It's true. So, this is...
some tower upgrades as well.
This yellow thing here is a CP cost. And CPs are just an alternate currency. There's no actual tokens for them or anything like that. We just have to remember. So in this phase, we have 5 CPs to spend on minions that we want to put out.
Including the 0-cost hero. So... CP, unlike Source, does not carry over between turns, so you have 0 incentive to save it.
Yeah. That's why there's no tracker like there is for Source.
Yes. And this is where you'll be using this side of your player sheet so you can remember what all your keywords do. Isn't that right, Mike?
Yeah. What?
You're supposed to be explaining this. Oh, because my hero isn't out on this is out on this turn, I can equip this item to them, can't I?
I think so. Yeah. You can just put it on now.
Yes. Boop. Yep. Equipment. Can I have the thing of what Reap does again? I want to make sure I get it right.
Once per wave.
Yep.
When you're adjacent to a source well, you can roll a d6 and gain the result in source. And it doesn't matter if it's occupied, so it doesn't matter if there's a
thing on it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
A spire or a exploration token.
Excellent.
Okie dokie.
Ugh.
So, I got some dudes here.
So they all deploy onto the fortress gate. Everything has to move off of the fortress gate if it's able to, and we'll get into movement when we get into it, but essentially heroes can't block, they will get pushed out of the way, but every minion has to move towards your target, which is the opposing player in a 2-player game. Heroes can choose to go their own way because they're smarter than the average bear.
You can go your own way.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Go your own way. So,
what you might have noticed if you have any familiarity with these pieces, the stats of the creatures change a lot. My creatures are less impressive than Mike's, I would say, usually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not great, but it's damage and health and movement is the main thing. There's not a great deal of amazing things happening.
So I have to lock in my deployment stack before Ollie because I'm the first player.
Yep.
So that means that what I'm going to do is basically I'm just going to be like, so if he wants to see what I've got, he can just ask.
Yes.
To see what I've got. And then he can make up his mind about what's going on. Next time he'll be the first player, and then he has to lock in before me.
Indeed. Wonderful.
So now, once we're done the prep phase, we're going to move into the onslaught phase where everything's going to walk out onto the battlefield and attack each other and try and kill each other, and we'll see what happens.
Indeed.
During the prep phase, before we actually built these deployment towers, we would have chosen marks if there was more than one player. So we would have put these down next to someone else's fortress, exactly like that, to show that that was the one person we were targeting. But because it's a 2-player game, this is unnecessary because there's only one target.
So we're just going to leave them there.
Exactly. Is your stack ready?
My stack is ready, sir.
Okay, so we're all ready to go with the first onslaught phase tomorrow on Ready Steady Play. So I hope you guys are excited to come back and see this conflict and
This bloody nightmare that we call...
The war for source.
Well, I like to think of it as, a holy conflict because, we got told to do it by the magical substance that we're ingesting in dangerous quantities.
Do you know what my biggest regret about ditching the other series is? Missing Michael saying sauce.
Aww.
Maybe I'll edit it in. I'll try and edit it in.
Every time one of us says sauce, you could edit him saying sauce.
Sauce. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
So this is Cloudspire by Chip Theory Games. This is
Ankar.
Ankar, is that what it's called?
That's where we are.
We're on Ankar, which is a land that floats in the sky and has many angry things that live there. Honestly, I don't know why it's got so many sentient races. There's got to be some backstory I'm unaware of, but somehow
it's the sauce. It's the sauce, dude.
The source.
Everyone wants the sauce, and it's running
source.
out.
Yes. Although I still love
Get saucy.
I still love the fact that we're on a floating island and only one race can fly. It's like I feel like the others are losing that particular arms race.
Isn't that to do with? I'm maybe thinking of other games here, but isn't that because of the sauce and losing the sauce and things flying because there's not much sauce anymore?
I just want him to keep saying sauce.
As you can see, we've done a lot of research and we clearly understand the plot of this game.
Yeah, that'll teach you for putting me in charge.
I'll show you. While building towers to defend against the armies of minions, and we're going to be rewarded points for killing each other's minions. I say points, the resource, which is source.
Oh, it's infectious.
Sauce!
It's infectious.
What, am I saying it wrong?
Come on, Mike, come back to us.
Am I saying it wrong?
You're saying it northern.
You're saying it northern, you are.
Oh, right.
Not
flashback
wrong.
to Lairs and Lairs.
What?
Lairs?
Yeah, where monsters sleep.
No. Like you
The
have
dragon's lair.
in a cake. You've got
Like
a layer
a-
of sponge, a layer of jam.
I want to go to the sponge lair
Yeah.
and meet the sponge monsters
That would have
live
made
in the
the
sponge lair.
That would have made the Hobbit much more interesting if the dragon lair was a layer of dragons.
A layer of dragon cake.
It's Lairs! Layers of sauce. Right?
Oh god, my brain is hurting.
The ketchup cave.
Oh.
So, what we're